What up, YouTube? We back at it again. We got more Tim Minchin. Minchin. Don't mention it. And do me a favor, if you're new to my channel, if you're not new to my channel, run over to Tim's page and support him. He's hilarious. I haven't dove near into what I'm supposed to. You guys keep telling me to do shit. So I'm gonna listen to you guys. We got Thank You God. This is live. I think it sounds. I don't know if there was even other versions. I just clicked on the first one I saw. I don't know if there's like a video version, a lyrical version. Last time I did like a music video one, the dinner party one, and you guys said don't do that, do the live. So we'll stick with lives until you tell me otherwise, and then I'll just go back and forth and listen to everybody, because everybody, I can appease everybody. I can make everybody happy. If you like what I do, please like over there, comment down below, subscribe. Helps out the channel. Appreciate it. Let's see why we're thanking God. In his case.
Sorry, I'm procrastinating. Look, there's just something I kind of need to address.
Volume's very low on this.
I know I should do it now. That, over the years, I've realized that.
Hold on a second. The volume is like inherently low on this video. I don't know if it's just this one.
So a lot of my audience has come to my shows, particularly because of a.
Do you guys hear that?
Sometimes because I quite often sing about beliefs. Specifically, in the past, I've sung a lot about faith and religion, and if I'm completely honest with you, I've tended to mock some of the, not in general, but some of the perceived hypocrisies. But I just don't want anyone to be waiting for that, because I'm not doing it anymore. Well, I know it's. Look, I should. You've earned an explanation. You're right. Something happened to me. You see, when I was touring my last show in Australia. It was the beginning of last year, and I was doing a gig. Not one of my gigs. It was it was actually a new material night, hosted by the Ross Noble. You know, the long-haired, mentally ill northerner. And
Northerner, isn't he Australian? Is it like, is that what you refer to? He's not from like Northern Australia, right? No one is, right? Like, I'm confused. Is it because he spent time in like a lot of, how old is this? Like 10 years old, right? So this is probably when he was in the UK, I'm assuming, right? Because he, wasn't he known for doing like British TV shows, like as a panelist? I forget the name of the shows. He's got a cute wife. But then he moved back to Melbourne. Like, I think like, about, I don't know, it wasn't, no, it must have been, all right, so this was made before then, but he's back in Australia now, from what I understand. That doesn't really matter. Anyways, sorry.
He's not, obviously. He's a genius, which is a mentally ill person with an audience.
Facts. If you guys are watching right now, I could be a genius too. Actually, I took this stupid IQ test, and they told me I was. I'm not gonna get into that. I would put that on the screen, but I don't need to flex like that. I'm just kidding. I'm dumb as shit. Rocks.
He's beautiful. He's you know Ross. He's the best, and he does this amazing gig. And we were having a drink afterwards, and it was a really nice vibe in the bar. But I noticed this dude who slightly uncomfortably was hovering sort of on the periphery of our group. And I noticed in particular, this tall, really handsome guy had those nice dreadlocks that you can get for about 600 quid at the hairdresser, and he had a shirt open to about here, and it's very tanned. But I noticed him particularly because he had a long silver chain, and hanging on the end of the chain, a quite prominent silver cross. You know, the sort of cross you might wear if you're a fan of intersections.
Intersections.
Or the lowercase letter T. Or probably most commonly if you're a fan of the apparatus by which first century Romans put to death and tortured Jewish insurgents. And anyway, he's sort of standing there.
I love that he kind of just downplays that under his breath a little bit as the least important of the. He knew where he was going there. That's funny. I love that he's also barefoot. My man does not like shoes. I don't like shoes either. We just stay barefoot in Zach's house. Just saying. I'm glad I didn't do that when my feet were dirty. Imagine if I did that and then you guys could call me out like, bro, gross, man.
Eventually, he made the move and he came over. It's lovely, polite guy. He said, "Hi, g'day, I'm Sam." His name was Sam. He said, "I'm from Dandenong." He was from Dandenong.
Like these repeating. I'm Sam. His name was Sam. He's from Dandenong. He was from Dandenong.
Which is the suburb of Dandenong, set in the Dandenong Ranges, just to the southeast of Melbourne. And we got talking, but I could tell he wanted to talk to me, and eventually he managed to kind of, isolate me from the pack. And he said, "Tim, I've always wanted to talk to you because I'm a fan of your work, and I don't want you to think I'm offended or anything, but as you might have noticed, I'm a Christian."
He was a Christian.
And he said, I've always wanted to ask you why you don't believe in God. And I said, "Well, Sam, I don't believe in God for the same reason that anyone that doesn't believe in a thing doesn't believe in it, because I haven't yet been offered enough evidence to allay my doubts."
He touched on that like a little bit, like in the last video I saw, that like he's and I'm not sure if he's sort of inserting satire purposefully into this, and if these are, let me know if these are like his actual beliefs. I don't judge either. I don't give a fuck. He's funny. Nor does it really matter to me. Humor's humor. It can be as offensive as it needs to be to whoever's listening and finds it funny. But he touched on that a little bit in the last thing I saw. Said that he's very logical, like almost like a very sort of extreme kind of realist. If I don't see it, I'm not going to believe it until you present me with suitable evidence. Like he's basically like a judge sitting up there deciding I'll believe it when I see it, for lack of a better term, just to kind of dumb it down. But it seems like, because I've only watched a few things, and that seems a common tone.
And he said, "But you don't just go through your whole life only believing things for which you have evidence."
Oh, but I do.
And I said, "Yeah." Well, that's pretty much how I stutter my way through my turgid existence, yeah. And he said, "What about love?" And I said, "Well, what about?"
See, the way he did that too, that's why I stuttered my way through my turgid existence. So he could take self shots in order to kind of, enlighten a conversation without offending. He's like, because he's sort of insulting himself just to kind of make him a little more comfortable, which is a nice thing to do, conversationally.
"I love Sam." And he said, "Do you believe in love?" And I said, "Yeah, I believe in love. I think I am loved. Sure." And he said, "Aha! You don't have any evidence for love." And I said, I think, yeah, I got evidence. Sure, love without evidence is stalking.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, Tim, if it's evidence you want, how about this?" And he told me this story, this incredible story about his mum. You see, Sam and his mother were members of a big evangelical church congregation in the Dandenongs, one of those new glassy type ones.
One of those new glassy type ones. It's funny how he downplays that too, even though we all know exactly what he's talking about, right?
And
driven by.
In her early 60s, Sam's mum had gone to the doctor with a problem with her eye, and
Oh, don't get me started on eye problems. I've had 2 like major eye surgeries. Oh, I just had one this year. Like that you have to be put out for, and people cut into your. It's never mind. It's a hot subject with me.
Diagnosed an irreversible degenerative eye disorder, and he told her that if she didn't get surgery very quickly, that she would lose her eyesight. And Sam's mum was afraid. She didn't believe in modern medicine. She didn't trust doctors. She was afraid of hospitals and the idea of surgery. But Sam and his mum went to this church, this incredible church, and that Sunday, the entire congregation of their church, some 1,700 people, prayed at the same time for Sam's mum. And the following Tuesday, they went back to the doctor, and there was no sign that there'd ever been anything wrong with her eyes. She was healed. She was cured. And the reason this story had an impact on me is because I try to be intellectually honest with others and with myself, and all I've ever asked for is evidence. And here I was witnessing a first-person account of what can only be described as a miracle. So I went home and I wrote this song.
And right now, if you with anybody else, if you knew nothing about him, you would expect something of beauty, some something of divine intervention in his life that points him to God, almost to a point where a halo would appear above his eye, or his head, and there'd be little swans and angels flying behind him. But I have a feeling he's gonna go a different way with this.
I have an apology to make. I'm afraid I've made a big mistake. I turned my face away from you, Lord. I was too blind to see the light. I was too meek.
I was too blind. I was too blind to see the light. Playing off the vision scheme. All right, no, so we're tying things together. I got you.
To feel your might, I closed my eyes. I couldn't see the truth, Lord.
Close my eyes. We're all on this eye scheme. I love it. That's how like lyricists write.
But then, like Saul on the Damascus road.
For those of you that don't know, like a Damascus road, it's basically it's actually a term from the Bible. It's kind of like something aside from Christianity. It's like a radical change in opinion on something based on an event, right? So it's, anyways.
You sent a messenger to me, and so now I've had the truth revealed to me. Please forgive me all those things I said. I'll no longer betray you, Lord. I will pray to you instead, and I will say thank you, thank you, thank you, God.
It has all the makings of like a church song. If you hear even like the melody and stuff, with like the uplifting tones and the drums, the percussion kicking in.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom.
Smile right there. It didn't have anything to do with anything. I just love it. It's awkward for Sam's mom.
Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I had no idea, but it's suddenly so clear. Now I feel such a cynic. How could I have been so dumb? Thank you for displaying how praying works. A particular prayer in a particular church. Thank you, Sam, for the chance to acknowledge this omnipotent ophthalmologist.
This omnipotent ophthalmologist. Thank you for the time for. Okay, I kind of think I know where this is going.
Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I didn't realize that it was so simple, but you've shown a great example of just how it can be done. You only need to pray in a particular spot to a particular version of a particular God, and if you pull that off without a hitch, he will fix one eye of one middle-class white bitch. I know.
Okay, so now he's like sort of backdoor, sarcastically kind of poking at the subject of that. All right, thanks God, you did this, whatever version of whatever God you prayed to, fantastic. Such a specific thing to be concerned with, right?
Oh, in the past, my outlook has been limited. I couldn't see.
I can't get volume right. They started so with. It's not my fault. This video starts real quiet, then it just got real loud. So I'm trying to deal with it. Sorry about that.
Examples of where life had been definitive, but I can admit it when the evidence is clear as Sam's mom's new cornea. And that's extremely
clear as Sam's mom's new cornea. I like that. What they say, and that's really fucking clear.
As clear as Sam's mom's new cornea. And that's extremely clear.
Same thing.
Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I have to admit that in the past I have been skeptical, but Sam described this miracle and I am overcome. How fitting that the sighting of a sight-based intervention.
Sighting of a sightless intervention. Everything tying back to this vision. He has this vision of God now, but it's all tying back to the eye scheme, right?
Open my eyes to this exciting new.
Open my eyes to this exciting. Hold on, he's doing it everywhere.
How fitting that the sighting of a site-based intervention should open my eyes to this exciting new dimension. It's like someone put an eye chart up in front of me, and the top 5 letters say I-C-G-O-D.
I-C-G-O-D. Love it.
Thank you, Sam, for showing how my point of view was being
For showing.
so flawed. I assume there was no God.
I assume he's. This is genius the way he's mixing that in everywhere.
For showing how my point of view was being so flawed. I assumed there was no God at all, but now I see that cynical and simply that his interests aren't particularly broad. He's largely undiverted.
His interests aren't particularly broad. Like I said, a very specific and awkward choice to fix your mom.
But now I see that cynical and simply that his interests aren't particularly broad. He's largely undiverted by the starving masses, or the inequality between the various classes.
I was waiting till he goes there. Unconcerned with the rest of the shit going on, and now he's listing those. I was kind of waiting on the bigger picture like approach to this, where he starts like, all right, he fixed your mom's eye. We got starving, dying, poor, wars, broke, you name it. We have quadriplegics, but your mom's eye is fine. That's what he's concerned with. I thought the twist was coming up. I think I saw that coming. Saw it coming.
He's largely undiverted by the starving masses, or the inequality between the various classes. He gives out strictly limited passes, redeemable for surgery or 2-for-1 glasses. I feel so shocking for historically mocking you. Your interests are clearly confined to the ocular. I bet given the chance.
His interests are defined to the ocular. God's very concerned with eyes.
Historically mocking you, your interests are clearly confined to the ocular. I bet given the chance, you'd eschew the divine and start a little business selling contacts online. Fuck me, Sam, what are the odds that of history's endless parade of gods, that the God who just happened to be taught to believe in is the actual God, and he digs on healing, but not the AIDS-ridden African nations, nor the victims of the plague, nor the flood-addled Asians, but healthy, privately insured Australians with common and curable lens degeneration.
Common and curable lens degeneration. This is just an entire fucking overemphasis on. He probably gets in a lot of trouble in conversation, just by being intelligent and saying things, you know, that people might not take as jokes. I do the same thing sometimes, but it's tough when it's just like if you see a different viewpoint and like just exposing that, like if it's just like that's the most absurd thing I ever heard in my life and here's why, and then it's like you just make people feel stupid. It's like, oh, so I believe in the eye God is what you're saying. Oh, well shucks, you're not wrong about the other worldly issues. But we had 1,700 people at that church. Oh, there's millions praying for peace, for, you know, but
The story is not the victims of the plague, nor the flood-addled Asians, but healthy, privately insured Australians with common and curable lens degeneration. The story of Sam's has but a single explanation, a surgical god who digs on magic operations. No, it couldn't be mistaken attribution of causation, born of a coincidental temporal correlation, exacerbated by a general lack of education, vis-a-vis physics in Sam's parish congregation. It couldn't be that all these pious people are liars. It couldn't be an artifact of confirmation bias, a product of groupthink, a mass delusion, an emperor's new clothes style, fear of exclusion. No.
It's sorry, I do pause a lot because I hear things and I won't retain this all at the end. So bear with me here. It's a reaction channel. You can the original is linked below. You've all seen it anyways because you told me to watch it. So hope that doesn't bother you because that's what we do here. We react to things. I love these, and then he gets in and not only the overlying, you know, sort of umbrella of all the other issues going on that God's not concerned with. Now we're going to attack specifically like what he's doing right now. It's like, oh, there couldn't be any other reason specifically why your mom's eye is better. There's nothing else to explain that other than some sort of deity or, you know, some sort of divine force or power that's healing, that reached out to just her on this specific day because of our specific prayer to this specific God. It's like, It's a wild overemphasis, like I said, but it's wild and it's fun. I'm here for it.
The groupthink, a mass delusion, an emperor's new clothes style, fear of exclusion. No one's more likely to be an all-powerful magician than the misdiagnosis of the initial condition, or one of many cases of spontaneous remission, or a record-keeping glitch by the local physician. No, the only explanation for Sam's mum's scene. They prayed to an all-knowing super being, to the omnipresent master of the universe, and he liked the sound of their muttered verse. So for a bit of a change from his usual stunt of being a sexist, racist, murderous cunt, he popped down to Dandenong and just like that used his powers to heal the cataracts of Sam's mom. Of Sam's mom. Oh, thank you God for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I didn't realize that it was such a simple thing. I feel such a king-holding what ignorant scum. Now I understand a prayer can work, a particular prayer in a particular church, in a particular style, with a particular stuff, and for particular problems that are particularly tough, and for particular people, preferably white, for particular senses, preferably sight, a particular prayer in a particular spot, to a particular version of a particular God. And if you get that right, he just might take a break from giving babies malaria and pop down to your local area to fix the cataracts of your mom.
This man's fucking entertaining. I'm gonna say something real stupid right now. So fast forward past this part. You know what that reminded me of? And this is I'm taking a really childish look. Just like the last portion there when they're dun 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 dun. Dun, dun. It reminds me of, like, you ever see in Family Guy when Stewie and Brian get into their song, and it's not just because he sounds a little bit like Stewie, but more so like like just because they sing about topics that are ridiculous, but they kind of have a point sometimes. Like, I don't know. If you watch enough of it, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. But that's why I said fast forward, because you might not. But they do it, the musicality behind that. Even more so than like what he was doing lyrically, and was it was like, you know, it's like fucking parade music, right? It just you picture like fucking girls kicking their legs up in the background. What do they call those? The Rockettes or some shit. Are we done here? That was entertaining. He has a great ability of, well, entertaining, but I was gonna say more so like within that, like, emoting. He's not just singing a funny song. He's giving you a performance. So it's not just storytelling, and it's not just music. It's a show. It's a one-man show. Yes, he has an orchestra and, you know, a full arrangement behind him. I get that. That's just support. He doesn't need that. He can do that shit on the piano and make it equally as entertaining. That was awesome. It's just it's taking a simple man and with something simple to say, and, you know, just, you know, over exaggerating, you know, like I had said, like, just, I don't know a better way to put it, like, just every single facet of trying to pick that apart, like, from a logical standpoint. It's just like, oh, God saved your mom's eye. God, that's something. Shucks. And it's because of your guys' prayer. That's really amazing. I can't fathom not believing in God after a story like that. Thank you, Sam. I got a story for you. And then just go into, like, you know, he was talking about children dying and wars and poverty and just every little thing. But you're privately insured, you know, middle class, working, healthy, overall bitch of a mother. That's where God looks. So that's absolutely that's a tangible sign that I can grab a hold of to believe in God. So I appreciate you coming to me today. That must have been God's effort too. How you stalked your way over to me and weaseled up to get a conversation to teach me about God. Um, Now we just need you, to put a tie on and show up at my door tomorrow and let's talk Jesus. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking around, obviously, but that's kind of he takes it to extremes for comical purposes. Obviously, I don't think he's outwardly trying to offend anybody's religion. He's just like he's taking his views and exploding them, and doing it in a funny way. I'm sure that he has, like anybody else who has their own views on certain things. I'm sure he has a healthy respect for anybody's right to believe whatever the fuck they want, as long as you're happy when you get out of the bed in the morning, then and it doesn't offend him, then cool, more power to you. But at the same point, he's got a right to his beliefs as well. If these are in fact his beliefs, I couldn't imagine him singing or putting together these diatribes on these topics without having some sort of firm belief or step stool to stand on. He can't just make the shit up if he actually was like a devout Christian, because then it would just be sort of, anti his own beliefs, and that just wouldn't make any sense unless he just really bought into comedy and just really loves to make people laugh. In that case, there's no boundaries with what you do as long as you're making fun of yourself with it. But I don't know, it's fun. Let me know what else to check out. My apologies for making a long video longer. I do pause a lot, but I try to listen for things and have fun with it. So if it's not fun for you guys, or I'm not fun for you guys, then you don't have to watch. The original is linked below, like I said. So anyways, if you like, please comment down below. Subscribe. I think I have a couple more on the list that you guys have sent me. I don't want to go back and do other versions of stuff that I've done just yet. I'd like to hear new stuff. So I'll probably start with that before I start repeating the same thing in a different format. If that makes sense. But yeah. Anyways, we'll stick to that, and we'll catch you on the next. Go God.